Burnley lead 1-0 after the first leg at Turf Moor thanks to 10 minutes of Reading madness.
No, there was a definite pullback there. Referee gives the penalty. Alexander against Hanneman. Alexander scores! Burnley leads! Down goes Blake. Straight red card. Andre Piqué and Reading falling apart here.
Now the Royals have to win at home for the first time since January to have any chance of booking their place in the Wembley final. Reading fans can hardly believe what they've seen here. 8 games without a win, but they know their season could still end in glory. It's been a wonderful journey for Burnley. They only just missed out on a trip to Wembley in the League Cup, and now they are just 90 minutes away again. The big team news, no Kevin Doyle for Reading. There is a full debut for 20-year-old Simon Church, and what a time to make it. For Burnley, good news on the injury front. Wade Elliott is back in the team. But Chris Eagles picked up a knock on his hip on Saturday. He misses out, though he is on the bench and could still play a part. It's the Coca-Cola Championship playoff semi-finals, second leg, live from the Medeski Stadium. Reading up against Burnley on Sky Sports 1 and in high definition HD1, channel 408. Very good evening to you. Well, if Reading had beaten Birmingham here on the final day, they'd already be celebrating promotion. They have one final chance. If they don't take it, we will have a Burnley-Sheffield United playoff final. Our guest tonight, Adi Boothroyd, who was part of the playoffs with Watford last season, and Kevin Blackwell, whose Sheffield United team made it through last night. How much did you enjoy that, Kevin?
I enjoyed it. I'll enjoy it more tonight, watching them suffer, that's for sure. But terrific performance from the players, and I thought thoroughly deserved.
Well, you mentioned the performance. You take heart not just by the fact that you actually got through, but the manner in which you did it as well.
Yeah, I think it's in a high-pressure situation with some terrific young players to perform as well as that was really pleasing, and hopefully that'll all go well for the final.
Adi, you were there last night. Whoever goes through, do you think they have a real match on their hands against Sheffield United?
Without a shadow of a doubt. They've got the momentum. They've been the form team coming into the playoffs. You know, a magnificent run in the last 12, 13 games to get them in the position. And unfortunate not to go up automatically, but you know, I was reading Kevin's programme notes last night. He's talking about being the third best team, and you know, his players are obviously proving that they want to go. They want to go up. They want to be the third best team, and they want to get in that Premiership.
So how do you see this one tonight, Kevin? Who do you want?
I'm not bothered really, but it's an interesting contest here. We've got one team full of confidence, Burnley, and arguably Reading, who would look as though they're lacking confidence. And so right now, I would say that Burnley are the favourites.
How can you explain it, Adi? They've gone 8 games without winning here, and they've only scored 3 goals in that time as well.
Well, as Kevin, you know, confidence is a strange sort of a thing. You've got I think the Premiership hangover from last season, and at some point or other that does play a part, and players want to get back there. Some might be a little bit disappointed because they're out the side, and you know, they can kind of look and inwardly and feel sorry for themselves rather than doing what's got them there in the first place. But I saw Reading's last couple of away games and they looked like they were back to where they were, and obviously the Birmingham result was a bit of a downer on them, but you know, they've not won for 8, but it's got to turn sometimes.
And maybe it looks like a last throw of the dice as well, to bring in a 20-year-old to make his full debut in a playoff semi-final. Well,
that's either smacks of desperation or a player that they rate very highly, and I'm sure it's the second one. But you just look at that, and I think Reading started well in the season. So to lose their form is that's what's confounding people. And I look at the players, you're thinking any minute now they could just explode. They've got quality players all over the pitch.
Someone like him, who hasn't been around all the negativity, he's been scoring goals on loan at Leyton Orient. A bit like Kyle Walker at your place, he just comes in and played a handful of games.
Absolutely, the kid can come out there and play with absolute no fear. And sometimes you look at the kids and that's exactly what they do. And I'm sure that's what Steve will be looking from young Churchy today.
Well, let's hear then from Steve Coppell. He's with Greg Whelan.
Steve, to get to Wembley, you have to buck the trend in terms of your recent home form. How confident are you that you can?
Well, I don't think we've been confident given our recent home form. You know, it's a question of wait and see. There's a determination. You know, we've looked at our situation, we're working on a few things and hoping it'll pay dividends. But there's certainly no guarantee. It's something we've got to work very hard for tonight, for sure.
You've chosen a playoff semi-final to give a full debut to Simon Church up front. What's your reasoning behind that, and what can he offer?
Well, he's a good player. You know, he's a Welsh under-21. He's just a good striker, and you know, it is a gamble without doubt, but I have confidence in him, and you know, we have a flexible bench. We can do many things from the bench. So, you know, I just felt it was a square peg in a square hole, and that's what we need, and for certainly to start the game anyway.
It's win or bust tonight. What's your final message to your players?
I think it's all too simplistic to say enjoy it, but, you know, if they go out there, you know, feeling as if they are carrying a burden, then they're not going to express themselves properly, and they need to tonight. They need to take the weight off and just realise this is it. This is what it's all about. And winner takes all either side.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
He admits it's a gamble, but AD, can that kind of introduction of a new young player with energy have an effect on the rest of the team?
I think definitely it can. I mean, he said himself it is a gamble, but at the same time, that energy and that willingness to do what's required, to run in behind, to cause a problem, might just settle everybody else. And one thing I think is very important is, because he's a young player and he's perhaps a local player, only from down the road, he's going to get the crowd going, and that is important. This crowd here tonight are going to be very, very, very important to Reading.
From one end of the spectrum to the other, complete contrast is Graham Alexander, who's making his 926th, I think it is, career appearance. He started every game of 60 for Burnley this season. What kind of achievement is that?
That, for a young lad, is an achievement, but Graham at 36, 37, and I think that he's got over 110 goals for a full-back. He's a terrific pro. I watched him in the game on Saturday, and he was talking to players through the game. Calm down, do this, don't celebrate, we've done nothing. Terrific pro, and I mean, he's fantastic for the penalty spot. I think 10 out of 10 this season. It's absolutely superb.
Who knows, those penalties, 10 out of 10, as Kevin says, might come in very handy by the end of this season. Here's Owen Coyle then with Greg.
Owen, after the season you've had, how big a challenge is it to keep everyone focused on the job still to be done?
Well, I think they don't need any, I would think, the desire to go and try and reach Wembley, and obviously a playoff final against Sheffield United. So both teams, I think, are aware of the prize that awaits them, and I don't think you need any motivation for that.
No Chris Eagles, but Wade Elliott does return tonight. What difference can he make?
Well, we think he's a talented player, as is Chris Eagles. We've had a number of injury concerns, and we've picked the best team, I think, available to start the match, and hopefully it will bear fruits.
So what's your approach tonight? Is it to go for that second goal or to protect what you've got?
No, well, we approach every game, home or away, in the same manner that we try and win them, and that'll be the same. I mean, I think it'd be naive and foolish to sit back against a very powerful Reading side and allow them to come onto you. So there will be times that we'll be under duress. That always happens in games, but we'll look to get the ball down and play and be adventurous and trying to be positive in the game.
Thanks, Owen.
Pleasure, thank you.
I'm not sure he can walk on water, but he can do very little wrong, certainly with these Burnley fans. Do you get a sense that maybe for Reading it's a failure if they don't make it, but for Burnley it's almost a bonus?
Well, nobody expected that at the start of the season for Burnley, so whatever they get is a big bonus. But they're in now. They've had a good run in the Cups, and they've done great to get here. But they've got the momentum. Reading, is it failure? No, it's not failure, because to get a squad who's been relegated into the playoffs is success because of everything that goes along with that. And they'll want to get back there, and they'll want to finish their season strong as well.
Does it affect their approach, the fact they lead 1-0, Kevin?
It could do, but I just look at it now, and I'm listening to the Burnley fans, and I'm looking at the Reading fans. They're quiet. You just feel there's a belief about the Burnley squad and their players and their fans. Reading, look at the apprehension amongst the fans, and I think that's the club's in apprehension at the moment.
But from what you've seen of them, Burnley, this season, would they know how to play for a draw, even if they had to, AD?
No, well, the first thing that smacks my mind is no, because they just want to attack. But Graham Alexander's a key player tonight. He'll calm things down. He knows that they're 1-0, but you see, if they sit on that result, then they're going to entice Reading onto them. So they've got to make sure that they go and get that away goal. I know it doesn't count, but to make it to 2.
Final thought, Kevin. What's the key thing to be thinking about in these early stages?
I think it's Reading's start. They've got to come out quick. They've got to put them under pressure, and somehow they've got to get an early goal. I think if they did that, the whole game will explode. Burnley then will be put on the back foot, and I think that's the key. At the moment, Burnley are on the front foot, both on and off the pitch.
And they have that lead by 1-0. Reading have to score, which has not been easy for them at home this season. Your match commentators, Gary Birtles and Bill Leslie.
Andre Biquet's 10 mad minutes at Turf Moor cost Reading the first leg. Biquet, of course, won't play again this season, even if the Royals do get to Wembley. So Alex Pearce, a 20-year-old who has been at the club since the age of 12, starts the biggest game of his career. Kevin Doyle, the top scorer, his comeback was short-lived, though. He's out again this time with Achilles trouble. That opens the door for Simon Church. A full debut for Reading for the Wales under-21 international captain. So Steve Coppell looks to the kids on this make-or-break night for the Royals. A win at a cost, though, for Burnley on Saturday. They almost lost their whole midfield as the day went on, but the situation has improved. Wade Elliott, who failed a test just before the kickoff, is fit to start tonight. Chris Eagles limped off and is only fit enough for a place on the bench. So Stephen Thompson starts his first game in 2 months. A switch in formation as well, by the look of things. So Thompson partnering the top scorer Martin Patterson. 18 goals this season, but he's only got 1 in his last 16 matches. Well, the boldness of Steve Coppell's selection illustrated by the established names on the Reading bench. Hunt, Kitson and Little all in reserve. As for Burnley, the weekend starters Joey Good-Johnson and Chris Eagles fit enough to return to the substitutes. Well, the last time Reading lined up in this tunnel, they were dreaming of automatic promotion, hoping that others would do them a favour. No favours required tonight. It's simple equations. Win well, and that equals Wembley. Nothing's been simple for them here, and they have to overturn that first leg deficit. Can they do it? Find out when we come back.
United in the final, but who will join him? It's the Coca-Cola Championship playoff semi-final second leg. Reading up against Burnley, who lead by 1-0. We're on Sky Sports 1 in high-definition HD1, channel 408. Home is where the hurt is at the moment for Reading, but they know now it's win or bust. Your match commentators, Gary Birtles and Bill Leslie.
Well, one of the key elements in Sheffield United's win at Bramall Lane last night was the way that their boys became men. Steve Coppell hoping for similar from his young men here tonight. Simon Church, a full debut on what is Reading's biggest match of the season, without doubt. So much on his young shoulders, Gary.
Yeah, there certainly is. It is a gamble, but I can remember playing in a certain European Cup final when a player I played with, Trevor Francis, was making his first appearance, scored the winning goal and became the hero. Who's to say he can't be the hero tonight?
Well, 28 years ago since Burnley last won on this ground. Gary, you and your Nottingham Forest side still reigning European champions then. This evening, though, the task is simple. 4th against 5th over the course of the season. 1 point over 46 games, the difference between them. 1 penalty over the first 90 of this semi-final separates them as we prepare to fight to the finish in Berkshire here tonight. As Owen Coyle said, we get closure here. 1 goes to Wembley, 1 goes on holiday by the time we're finished at the Medeski. Kede looking to take the charge for Burnley. Steve Coppell in his programme notes this evening saying how this first 10-15 minutes of the match, it's bound to be frantic, but who weathers it the best will have a massive bearing on how this tie pans out. Thompson up front for Burnley, leading the line there. Patterson in support. He's Burnley's top scorer. Reading with plenty back here. An early goal for Burnley would be more than they could dream of. One man who got the goal, Alexander, with a rangy ball there. That's cleared away by Alex Pearce. Bound to be a deeply beating heart inside that young frame. Both he and Simon Church up front playing the biggest games of their careers.
And one thing Reading have got to do is put out of the minds the home form. Just forget about it. It's a one-off game. They know what they've got to do. No excuses about the pitch. He looks absolutely great out there. So just get on with it and be positive.
It's understandable, isn't it? The focus on Reading's poor home form. Just 3 goals scored in the last 8. Perhaps the most worrying part of that statistic. Those defeats as well to the likes of Ipswich Town, Nottingham Forest and Bristol City. All sides down at the wrong end of things come the final reckoning. Burnley haven't been on fire themselves away, though. Just 1 win in their last 5. That's something that Reading will be looking to capitalise on.
The role of the crowd, as Kevin Blackwell was saying before, will be absolutely key as well. It's far from sold out, the Reading sections here. Burnley bringing over 2,000 down from Lancashire tonight.
They've got to play the part, and they're certainly trying to do that early in this game. Worrying thing for me, you look at the goals scored out there. 69 goals between the Burnley players, only 16 between the Reading players. It's a massive gap, and on that evidence you think, well, Burnley have got goals from everywhere on the pitch, and they should start as the favourites. They are favourites because they're 1-0 up. That fact alone speaks volumes.
It goes without saying, doesn't it, that managers live and die by their decisions. Even Stephen Hunt, Dave Kitson, back at the club on loan, of course, after his move to Stoke that didn't work out. Multi-million-pound move that it was.
Just wonder what they'll do without BK's strength and power up front. The two changes that are made in key positions, centre half, centre forward.
Thompson will be the focal point of any aerial Burnley attack. Now Wade Elliott on the charge. Big boost for Burnley to have him back in the side. Busy little challenge from Jay Tab, who scoots away. Marek Matejowski. And Tab is brought down. Mike Riley, the referee, gives a free kick.
We'll see quite a few of those early in this game. I'm sure he'll try and stamp his authority on the game early on. Just a little bit late. Gets his toe in first there, just collides.
Reece Williams had been playing right back for Burnley in the closing weeks of the season. Duff might just be a little ring rusty. It's Carlisle to clear this one away. McCann heads down. Comes to Patterson, who's back there defending. And just the sort of trouble that Reading will look to cause in the Burnley defences early on.
Well, you can see how it affects the crowd. The Reading fans straight away make a lot of noise. That mistake, and it's so important to get this first ball in with quality.
Pearce, who has got a couple of goals among those who come forward. He's closing in on Carlisle. Just had a little nudge on Clark Carlisle. That's why the whistle has gone. Chance to point out that it is a pretty blustery evening here in Berkshire. A lot of these players have been affected by the wind, and no change here tonight. Dewberry judged to a strong arm. Stephen Thompson out of the way. Alexander and Blake, the two veterans, the two key cogs in the successful Burnley machine. Don't forget, playing their 60th match of the season tonight. Alexander starting every single one of those. He'll leave this one to Blake. Just slipped at the moment of impact. Long was the only man up there. Calvin has intercepted. Here's Carlisle now for Burnley.
Interesting to see how Robbie Blake plays. Playing wide on the left. I'm used to seeing him playing just behind the front players, and he plays that role better than most people.
Dewberry, the captain, composed. Challenged late by Thompson. Right under the nose of the assistant as well. Wasn't going to get away with that one.
Referee didn't give it, yeah, you're right. The assistant gave it.
Premier League referees all the way in these playoffs. It was certainly a busy night, wasn't it, for Alan Wiley at Bramall Lane last night. Mike Riley's turn here at the Medeski tonight. Duff's convincing header. So too that of Dewberry for Reading. What sort of a game are we expecting here? Open game, high scoring? Probably not if the playoff pattern of this season continues. Just look, it's the 9th semi-final we've got here. In the previous 8, only Gillingham have scored more than 1 goal in a game. Tab brought down by Elliott here.
That's what you want to see from Reading, a positive start. Tab running at the defence, just clips him there. And that's what lifts home fans. That generates onto the pitch, lifts the players.
Well, there are options here. They abound for Reading. Brynjar Gunnarsson can hit a mean dead ball. It'll be slid in looking for Shane Long. And it was just a little too long, but Marek Matejowski reading the situation well.
What a good idea this was, by the way. Everybody's expecting a shot. Look at the movement now. Nobody goes with him. Nobody picks it. And it just not had enough on it. Could have been a different story. Lovely ball slid in. Long Justine with his pace couldn't get on the end of that.
For scoring the goals for Reading, when they have come in recent weeks, has fallen to Shane Long with the injury problems that Kevin Doyle has had. Here's Church. Matejowski couldn't provide him with the return. A pass challenge in there from McCann. Touch from Church. Here's Long. Reading will need reinforcements in the middle. Kevin trying to make up the ground. Jensen with an oh-so-vital touch.
What a touch that was. It looked like it was going beyond him. Big arm stretched out. Long does really well. It's a terrific ball in as well. Just lurking at the far post, and Jensen not got that. Could have been 1-0 down.
As if they couldn't remember from the league meetings, the last one. Remember, between these two sides, all the way back in October, they got a fierce reminder that if you have to beat Burnley, you have to beat the big Dane in their goal. Brian Jensen pulled off some vital saves when Reading were on top at Turf Moor before the game got away from them in the last 10 minutes, largely thanks to the absent Andre Biquet and his antics.
Well, Reading will know that beat Burnley here 3-1 early in the season. That'll give them a little bit of confidence. Should do.
They're looking for Kebe. Jimmy Kebe fizzed in for Long. Carlisle. Well, the Reading supporters, as you might be able to hear, felt that it should have gone their way. Mike Riley, the man who matters, gave it the other way.
Yeah, he was right next to it, wasn't he? Got a really good view of it. The referee not happy with something.
Brynjar Gunnarsson has gone across. Just a few afters there, maybe, from the Icelandic international that Mike Riley spotted.
There's the foul. And I think he's got every right to feel a little bit aggrieved there. To me, there's the concentration. That's a foul, the wrong way. It's clearly a foul on Long.
Giant clearance. Dubry heads down. Here's Marek Matejowski. Elliott in. And Duff just having a swing of boot at that one. The referee not happy with the way he did it.
Well, he has got to get the grips early in this game, the referee. We've seen a few challenges already, a little bit tasty.
Dubry. Long's jump. Alexander's clearance. Just wonder whether referees take into account the fact that these games are about as high stakes as it gets.
Generally, you see that they do, and hopefully Mr. Riley will think exactly the same.
Pearce. That's a pretty good ball to pick out Kebe. Taking the conditions into account as well.
They want to utilise Kebe, don't they, wide? We saw how influential he was against Norwich. Provided the two crosses for Long's 2 goals.
One of their problems, wasn't it, at Turf Moor when they were on top? As the final ball's gone away. This one nearly finding a way through to Long, cleared away by Carlisle. Thompson underneath it. There's Dan Harding for Reading.
It's good early pressure from Reading. Just trying to take the game to Burnley as they've got to. Not go gung-ho. There's no reason to do that early in the game.
And significantly, Gary, they're getting the crowd on side. Really good atmosphere here. Saying it's not a sellout, it's still around the 20,000 mark inside the Medeski.
I think the fans have seen how the players have started this game on a positive note, pushing Burnley back. That lifts you. You've got a chance.
You can feel it, can't you? Sometimes Reading the victims of their own success, and it's worth pointing out again. Even if they fail here tonight and fail to overturn this 1-goal advantage that Burnley hold on to, it will still be the 6th most successful season in the 138-year history of this football club.
That mean nothing though, will it, to anybody if they don't get through.
After a long wait, they've come a long way in a pretty short amount of time.
People tend to forget that, don't they, at times?
Yeah. Especially when the Premier League carrot is dangling so tantalisingly ahead of them via Wembley Stadium, of course. Patterson for Burnley, leaving Tab in his wake. Good pressure on Alexander. Reading have won it back well. Kebe on the turn. Back to Marek Matejowski. In comes Caldwell, the Burnley captain. And Matejowski couldn't resist the temptation to pull back at him.
Again, it's an incisive break, isn't it? Kebe involved again.
It's known as a comparatively genteel backwater in footballing terms, isn't it? The Royal County of Berkshire. It's rocking here tonight, I can tell you.
You want to make it as hostile as you can for the opponent. At the moment, the crowd are trying exactly that. They're trying to rally the players. Players are responding at the moment. I'm sure Owen Coyle would have said, right, you are going to weather a storm. It's going to come. You have to weather it at the moment. They're doing it. So relax, calm down. Do what you're doing. Don't take any chances. Don't try and be clever in these sort of conditions. It is blustery.
Well, they have been involved in the playoffs since then. Reading looking to get to Wembley for the first time since the mid-90s when they lost that final to Bolton. 2-0 up very early on, remember, ended up losing on 4-3 after extra time. Owen Coyle in the Bolton side that day scored a goal as well.
Watching his performance for the reserves as well the other week was pretty impressive as well. He's still scoring goals.
He thought about entering that one for goal of the season as well. And it's the enthusiasm of the manager which has led this squad of just 23 players to maintain such high standards over 60 games. Tonight they know that it all could come to an end. Burnley, a season that's taken them to within minutes of Wembley already in the Carling Cup. Church eased out of the way by the Norwegian Calvinez.
That's a really good turn by Church. You like to see strikers do that. First thing in the mind, get turned. And he certainly did that. Confident enough to do it. Didn't want to come back there. And there's the nudge right in front of the assistant. And yellow card produced.
Well, it's a result in some ways, isn't it, for Reading and Simon Church? He's got his marker into the book inside the first quarter of an hour.
That's what you don't want to see as a manager. One of your back four getting booked early in a game of this importance. Adrenaline rushing. The next one, you could be off.
Tab and Matejowski stand over it. It's in by J. Tab. It's come through to Shane Long for Reading. Long sets his sights. Jensen gets it away. Dubry hooks it back goalwards. Agonisingly close, but it loops over.
Not a bad effort from Dubry this. He knew exactly what he was doing. But again, Jensen, that big frame, the massive frame, barring the way again. It's a decent save. And look at that. He exactly knew what he was doing there. Here's the shot. It is a good save. Comes at him quick, through bodies. And look at this for an attempt after. Just hooks it back gently, didn't he? They know how close that was.
Here is Dubry looking for his first goal for the club. What a night this would be for him to get it. Came off Dubry. Burnley will have the corner. And it has to be said, a little bit of a respite. They've had to creak a little bit at the back to keep Reading at bay in these last few moments. Now they can ask questions at the other end.
Two centre-halves up. Caldwell.
Blake to take. Carlisle rose, but in hitting the deck, it took a lot of the pace off it.
I'll tell you what, Bill, had somebody been in that 6-yard box there in front of the goalkeeper, that's a chance. It's a decent header down.
Long. There goes Elliott, dispossesses Matejowski. McCann. Blake. And on to the young man from the Republic of Ireland. Calvinez. McCann has continued his charge upfield. Little deflection, carry it through to Thompson, defended well by Pearce. Burnley will come again, Blake. McCann wants it, gets it. Calvinez on the overlap.
Needed a bit of movement from midfield, it was all a bit static in there. Two strikers were in the box, nobody was really making an angle for Blake.
Harding. Long. Harding and Kebe, both runners for Reading as they pull forward the home side. Harding trying to slip it through to Church. Matejowski. Rosinia. Cross comes Blake. Went for the ball but got plenty of the man, and we might just see another yellow here from Mike Riley.
Well, I tell you what, I think that's worse than the other one. Rosinia saying, what do you have to do to make it a yellow card? Calvinez gets booked for a push in the back, and there's that late one, Rosinia, and nothing happens.
Well, whatever the intention, he cleaned him out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Matejowski, inviting one to attack now. It's back with J-Town. Now Harding. Reading really looking for this goal, which would level up the tie.
Well, they're doing everything they possibly can at the moment. Knowing Coyle realises that something has got to be done to stabilise things out there. They need an outlet at the moment. In the previous attack, nobody was willing to come towards the ball. That's when Robbie Blake does play behind the front two in the hole, and he drifts along the line. He's always available, but on the left-hand side it's a little bit different. A little bit sorry for him because he does play the other position very well indeed.
Just couldn't quite pick the pass. Steve Coppell, of course, will have looked at Burnley's recent away games. To twice come from behind in their last away match at Southampton just to get a draw. They conceded 3 goals in 16 minutes in the away trip before that, as they lost at Ninian Park in Cardiff. Flip side, though, Reading have only scored 3 goals here in the last 3 months, doing their best to improve on that statistic here. It's come to Church.
Really a big moment, wasn't it? And he knew it. First touch was good, realised the space had opened up for him. It's the target, not very cleanly.
He's a rising star in Welsh football. 8 goals in 12 caps for the under-21s, whereas the captain's armband as well. And scored in both legs as they were edged out by England. Wales under-21 in the playoffs for this summer's European Championships. Here's Long. Got the better of Caldwell. Caldwell goes in with the challenge. Referee takes a look at it. Reading were hoping perhaps for a little more, maybe supporters more than players. It was last-ditch stuff though, wasn't it?
There you see the pace of Long again, causing all the problems. Caldwell gets caught out, but he did superbly to get back in there. Gets his foot on the ball. Could have gone anywhere there. Gets his bit of luck.
Perfect tackle, wasn't it, from the Burnley captain?
It had to be, didn't it? It's the problem when you're playing against somebody like Long with his pace. Just gets there, just gets a little touch on it, and you get the tackle wrong. It's a penalty and you could be off.
Matejowski trying to get the better of Elliott, get that shot away. Away by Calvinez. Blake first on the scene for Burnley. No real outpull for them at the moment, so Blake just thunders it into opposition territory.
That's the problem, and this will lift Reading, I think, when they see that. They're pushing them back. At the moment, they're just struggling to get out their own half. Burnley.
It's as good as the 20 minutes of football as Reading have produced for a while. Matejowski, Tab.
His first touch just let him down, didn't it?
Crucially, though, as we approach the halfway point of the first half, Burnley's goal is still intact. Always the danger on the break as well. Patterson went for the early ball. McCann, the charger from midfield again.
Patterson's going to hold that. He's one-on-one there. Just get the ball and take your man on. Give it straight back to Reading. More pressure on you straight away.
Caldwell and Carlisle. McCann. Usually so strong in possession, so confident Burnley. Not being allowed to settle in any shape or form here by this hot start that Reading have made to the match.
He's so well, Heavyweight, doesn't he? Kills it down with his first touch and bamboozles defenders at times.
Thompson with a touch on, also got a little knee in the small of his back as well. Blake spreads play for Duff. And controlling, Kebe is able to get it back for Reading. Harding now. Kebe. Matejowski. Another one by Thompson, back behind the ball for Burnley. In by Rosina, little glance on. Church trying to provide the touch that might just open up, find the key to unlock this Burnley defence.
So far, the quality's been decent from Reading.
Kebe. It's been relentless in terms of the pace and tempo, hasn't it, for the last few minutes? Jay Tab is picking up a knock.
Well, they're doing exactly what they knew they'd got to, Reading. Got to be positive, take the game to the opposition, a talented opposition. And just look for that early breakthrough, hasn't come yet. Burnley will be delighted with that.
Alexander and Matejowski. Being given a little talking to by Mike Riley. Plenty of one-on-one conflicts going on around the pitch, little niggles that the referee will need eyes in the back of his head to be able to see them all.
That's what you want to see. It's a playoff semi-final. The winner of this goes to Wembley. Barely be niggles, there's barely be tackles flying in. That's what we all want to see.
Anything less, everyone would be disappointed, not to say the managers at the top of that list. With him and gets that cross away. Elliott deflected just over.
What an attempt this is, by the way. I think he realises that could have been heading goalwards had it not taken a deflection. Wonderful bit of skill here. Look at the technique here. Slightly behind him, and that deflection's flicked it over. That was heading, I think, from that angle, looked like goalwards. I think Elliott knew that.
So they needed the reminder, the warning sign. There was one there for Reading. Now comes the corner. Shane Long got the clearance. There's a collision of heads in there. Clark Carlisle is one of them, and Simon Church is the Reading man down on his haunches.
We've seen a number of players down already, haven't we? All got up. Church looks like he will as well. Carlisle on the worst for it.
Of course, there's a date on Bank Holiday Monday at the end of the month to follow, but one season condensed into one game here.
Well, here's the collision. I was honestly going for it near post. It happens.
It's going to be bruising, isn't it? A lot of players coming over to the sidelines just to have a bit of a breather as well.
The desire out there for the two teams is, I think, exceptional again. And that's been one of the things you've noticed more about all the playoffs. The desire, the determination, the character of the players out there. That's what you look for in big games, and I don't think any of the teams in the playoffs so far have let anybody down in that respect. Sometimes it's overshadowed the ability.
Well, Steve Coppell, no doubt about it, he's gone for youth tonight. Look at that in terms of the difference between the combined appearances of the starting 11. Burnley chock full of experience, including their captain Caldwell, who's given it away to Jimmy Keve. Introduced last season, Mali international to the Reading equation.
Riley trying to let the game flow, and he gets the chance.
Patterson, a little bit of space to run at Dan Harding as well. He'll settle for the corner.
Just trying to impose themselves a little bit, Burnley now. Backs to the wall in this first half so far. They'll do a lot of defending.
Carlisle, Caldwell with a near post run. It's McCann who gets his head to it.
Well, that's twice that's happened. Two downward headers into a really good area in the 6-yard box. And what happens? Nobody there. You have to put somebody in front of the goalkeeper. Had they done that, they could have got a couple of hard chances out of it.
Matejowski. Oh, good ball for Gunnarsson. He's onside as well. Church, the runner at the near post. He's missed it. Goodness me, what a chance that was for Reading.
That's the best chance so far, really, isn't it? What Calvinez was doing there. I think he tried to second guess and got caught out.
If you keep knocking, the openings will come. And they were opened up there, Burnley.
Oh, look here. Calvinez goes wide. He shouldn't go there. You've got to stay inside with the man nearest to the goal. Ball's put near post. That's a difficult one. Put in the right area, but to get any contact for there, to put it on target, very difficult. Calvinez sucked in when he shouldn't have done there. Created the opportunity.
Dan Harding is down. Well, to the comparative experience in the side. Reading as well, without a serious amount of goals. There's their top scorer. 18 goals he's got this season. Had his knee troubles recently, and it was a blow to the Achilles, which saw him miss out here. I hope Reading, if they can, turn this round and get to Wembley, that he will be ready to come back. BK starts a 4-match ban. It's his second sending off of the season, that one at Turf Moor. He will not play whatever happens.
Amazing thing about that was he didn't think he'd done anything wrong by his reactions.
When we're being kind, we can perhaps assume he was angry with himself, but perhaps not. Here's Gunnarsson, seeking Shane Long. Caldwell controlled the situation well.
The Burnley fans not happy. I think he went down too easily there, looking for a penalty. Ball's played in. If he stays on his feet here, he's got a chance of latching on again, but threw himself to the floor. Don't like to see that.
Another couple of serious absentees. Graham Murty and James Harper, both captains of the club when they do play. Murty, who's missed most of the season with his injury. James Harper's got a groin problem which has kept him out of the last 7 games. Back in training though, James Harper. Both of them are, in fact.
You look at the 3 players we've just seen off the pitch there, plus the players on the bench. Noel Hunt as well. Kitson on the bench. Stephen Hunt on the bench. It's a lot of experience out the team, isn't it?
Well, interestingly, and it's clearly a decision that Steve Coppell has made. He's left out a lot of the players who were involved in their last promotion campaign from the Championship, those who still remain at the club. Here's Harding. Well, it's been a lively and energetic first half from Reading so far. They just look for the reward for it that they really need. Conversion of large periods of dominance into an equalising goal on aggregate. Positive side for Reading. They're not playing like a side who hasn't won a game at home since January. On that cold, wet night, they beat Wolves. It's the culmination of a really good run over December, which and in the box seat for automatic promotion. That's all gone, of course. There's only one route, the playoffs. Challenge there by Marek Matejowski, free kick for Burnley.
Burnley are desperate to take the sting out of this Reading onslaught at the moment. Just trying to get possession of the ball a little bit.
On the positive side for Burnley, as they'll look at this and think Reading can't keep up this tempo, this one-way traffic for the full 90 minutes. Patterson. Thompson. McCann just coasting forward into the centre. Burnley look for the body check. It's Kebe who comes clear here for Reading. Here's Kebe. Elliott can intercept now for the Clouds. McCann.
Loads to throw people forward, aren't they, Burnley, at the moment? You can understand that. Hold on to that one-goal lead.
Thompson, his first start for 2 months, put up front for his physical presence. We would think preferred to Chris Eagles, who's among the substitutes. Matejowski definitely made an impact to the Reading midfield since he was reintroduced to the side for the last few games. Scored that goal off the bench here against Birmingham, of course. Unfortunately for Reading, that's just his first of the season. Got to double his tally here. Here's Church. Albanese did really well to prevent the corner initially, but it did dribble out, and Reading have the flag kick.
Excellent movement again by Church. Been impressed by that so far in this game. Plays on the shoulder of his defender. It's in really good areas and gets his team another corner.
Chance to send up the big boys from the back again. Whipped in well by Tab, too high for Dubry. It's come all the way through the box. Matejowski trying to get a sight at goal. Czech international dancing, the cutback for Dubry, brilliantly anticipated by Caldwell, who put his body on the line. Dubry, well, he's going to get a yellow card for this.
Well, I think that's wrong as well. He's every entitlement to go for that ball. Matejowski does well, twists and turns, gets the ball back, and Dubry's got to go for that. Yes, he catches him, but in the box you've got to go for it. He's gone for the ball. Does he get it? I think his trailing leg was the one that's worried the referee, but in that area his manager, if he didn't go for that, wouldn't be happy.
That may be just the follow through with the other leg. It's like scissor action that Mike Riley didn't like. That must have been it.
But he didn't mean to do that. He saw that it was an opportunity to try and win the ball in the box. That's what he went to do. Harsh.
No doubt the initial intention did appear to be a good one. To go to ground to win it from Duff. And Elliott unable to keep it in the field of play inside the last 10 minutes of the first half, and we are still as we started here at the Medeski. That Graham Alexander penalty kick at Turf Moor, and Burnley still have their ticket booked to Wembley. A lot of work to go before they can rubber stamp it though and join Sheffield United. Here's Church. Matejowski in support. Church goes direct. There's Carlisle. Not quite sure what Rosignol was thinking.
I think he was going for goal. I think he was trying to volley that. Just set Burnley on the attack. Don't be concerned throwing coil. Everything's coming down the right-hand side. Calvin has maybe been picked out by Reading as the one that they want to get at. And Church has got at him 2 or 3 times so far.
There's a left-back who was sent off here in the league meeting, Stephen Jordan, who's among the substitutes, for a fixture that isn't particularly feisty between these two. There have been 2 red cards in the last 3 meetings, if you include that Andre BK one. Couple of yellow cards so far here, 1 apiece. And it's exactly as you would have predicted in terms of the commitment, the desire, the energy. It's a playoff. Wembley beckons and the Premier League waits beyond that. And the Premier League could be Manchester United, or certainly a step closer to it. If they can beat Wigan tomorrow, 7:30, see it live, Sky Sports 1 and HD1. A win there and they'll be 1 point away. Casey Reading interchange, again, Constant out. Blake. Jensen.
You can just tell how important this game is, because there's a lot of first touches going astray. And that's the reason a lot of crunching tackles are about, because when you lose that first touch, you're stretching for the next ball, and it gets to you, these sort of occasions.
Well, after the grind and the toil of 46 matches in the Championship, more often than not, it ends up at being 2 a week, every week. To adjust your mindset to the fact that there is no time to recover. You don't get to have another go next week. This is it, here tonight. For one of these two clubs, it all ends. Keir stood well, strong defending from the 20-year-old. His first taste of the playoffs. Graham Alexander in his 7th, yet to be successful. Calvinez swung up towards Thompson. And Thompson unable to do what he was looking to do.
Problem at times. You're that desperate to get your pass right and do all the right thing, the basics, and because it's so important, you sometimes get it wrong. We've seen Kebe a couple of times do it. Most of the players out there misplaced passes. You do on a normal weekend, but when you're playing in playoff semi-finals, you're just desperate to get it right. It doesn't always happen that way.
He knew that Kebe was lurking there. Michael Duff. Getting the better of Tab.
Well, he looks forward, and there's only Thompson there. Say the lows to really push bodies forward, Burnley. You feel you'd see the real Burnley play if Reading got that goal. Come out, they'd have to go and win the game. At the moment, happy enough just to do what they've got to do.
Church just lacking the speed to manoeuvre himself around Calvinez that way. At times, Burnley do keep caught in 2 minds about the way to approach the game. Primarily defensive, it's the way they've had to be, but the attacking side of their game, although they have had a fleeting chance, has been largely lacking. Caldwell didn't mean to do that. Long is onside. Out comes Jensen. Has to make it his. He does. Reading claim it bounced up off his hand. Mike Riley agrees. Free kick. Unintentional. So he should be all right here, Brian Jensen.
Well, he slid in, seemed to get the ball, and they're asking why you're not sending him off. And I think you're exactly right. He commits himself, goes all the way there, gets the ball first, and it does rebound onto him. It is accidental. There, gets the ball, and that's just unfortunate. And that's why the referee hasn't sent him off. He got it first with his foot, and then it ricochets onto his hand.
Well, the Reading players understandably vexed about that. They'll feel if Jensen's making a challenge like that outside his penalty area and it hits his arm, then it has to be deliberate.
The referee's made the right decision. He's come out his goal, he's got to clear it with his foot, which he has done, and it comes off the Reading player and bounces onto his arm. He didn't do nothing about that.
Despite the right decision being reached, and within a heart-in-mouth moment for Brian Jensen.
My worry when I first saw him coming out, is he going to get there? Because Long's pace is a little bit quicker than Jensen's.
They're not out of the woods yet either, Burnley. Marek Matyjowski, Dan Harding, they're the Reading pair standing over this. Burnley have everyone back, manning the barricades. Brynjar going to Patterson standing to the left as well. Harding will take it on himself. It got through the wall, and Jensen, a little bit surprised initially, recovered his composure just in time.
Well, how often do you see this? The wall goes to jump there, it goes through 2 sets of legs, and that in the end is a decent stop. There's one, there's the other, and that goes right through, and he's flat-footed. Luckily, he grasps onto it.
Well, we heard Steve Coppell say before the game, I've got plenty in reserve on the bench. If I feel the need to change things, he'll be happy with almost everything that Reading have done in this first half, apart from find that killer goal. It's been the story of their problems at home recently.
I'm impressed the way they've approached this game. I think the movement's been good. They've not gone long all the time. Dave Kitson's not in the side, so they've got to play it in channels, they've got to play it at the feet, and I think they've done it very well indeed.
The intention of Steve Coppell by playing Simon Church was to get a little bit of cutting edge. He very nearly got it there. Church was the man of the moment. He's got the corner.
What he does so well for a young lad, he attacks the near post. That's what you do as a striker. That's what you're always told. You see where your teammate is when he goes to cross it, and you hit that near post and you try and get anything on it you can.
Priority number one for Burnley here is to try and scramble their way through to half-time with their goal still intact. Harding. It's away by Duff. There's a push in there as well.
It's been incessant pressure, hasn't it? What they have got as well, Reading, they've got 2 full-backs who are prepared to get forward and join in. You've seen Harding do it, you've seen Rossini do it, and it makes it even more difficult for the opposition when full-backs are doing that to you.
Steve Coppell is more experienced in terms of the length of time he's been involved in the playoffs than most. He was manager of Crystal Palace in the very first season that they were in this format. Still had a 2-legged final back in those days. And here in the recent incarnation, he's, like most of the others here at the Medeski, and I'm sure a few of you at home as well, taking deep breaths. No clearer who will join Sheffield United at Wembley now than it was at the start of play. Here's McCann. A bit of defending by Pearce. Came off Blake. Here's Church.
Well, you have to say the 2 players who've come in, Pearce and Church, have had particularly good first halves, haven't they?
Anything seems to be an extra zest, a bit of energy about the way that Reading have played compared to so many of their slightly flat-footed recent performances, which saw them drift away from the automatic promotion positions as the season drifted on.
Just such a mystery because it's such a talented squad. Look at the players they've got and the goal-scoring records of the players, and you expect them to go out and win more games than lose.
Well, all the key men for Burnley in an attacking sense, Patterson and Blake, have been kept pretty quiet by Reading. It's very much been a defensive job for Burnley in this first 45 minutes, perhaps what they'd have expected, but Reading haven't disappointed if it was.
Well, you've seen Patterson tracking back, leaving Thompson up there by himself, and when Burnley do get possession and come out, they're looking up front and there's very little on. That's a problem when you're defending that deep with so many players.
Here's Patterson, needed a touch to control it, and Tab was right on him.
That's the first time we've seen them combine there. Thompson heading the ball down for Patterson.
Rare loose touch from Reading.
Well, I think Steve Coppell will be delighted the way his team's played this first 45. Can't be more positive than they've been. If it does stay at 0-0, Owen Coyle, I'm sure, will be pleased. So more of the same. When we break, can we just get maybe a few more bodies forward to support?
And the equality between the teams in all 3 divisions of the Football League in this playoffs is what has really marked them out this season. Some years you get the sides who all win away, sometimes they all win at home. This year it's just been the fact there's been so little between them, and the way things have gone in the first half here, it's going to type again.
That tells you all the teams who've got in the playoffs deserved to be there on merit.
Also perhaps tells you the fact that the sides that finished third no longer. This was in the early days when the playoffs were introduced. Had a few gripes about the fact they might have finished 10, 15 points above the side they were playing. Everyone accepts it's a level playing field. They're established now, the playoffs. Reading have thrown everything they can at Owen Coyle's Burnley in this first half, but they can't find the equalising goal. Jensen again, a significant barrier at the back. So Burnley still have that crucial advantage at half-time. It's goalless on the night at half-time at the Medeski.
The chairman watches on anxiously, knowing they still need that one goal for the right to play Kevin Blackwell's Sheffield United in the final. We'll hear from Kevin and from Adi Boothroyd in just a moment on that first half, which Burnley would say has gone their way simply because they still have a clean sheet, and if it stays that way, it's they that will be heading to Wembley to play Sheffield United. They've had one or two chances themselves. He's had over 1,000 games in charge, Steve Coppell. Can he work his magic at half-time?
So will it be Burnley? Will it be Reading? One thing we do know is that it certainly won't be dull for the next 45 minutes. Something has to give. Reading, well, they've never been promoted via the playoffs. This is their 4th attempt. Burnley making a pretty good fist so far of what is their first ever taste of the playoffs at this level, let alone the Championship Wembley final, which awaits them in 45 minutes' time if they can hold on to this clean sheet. No changes to either side at half-time. No change to the task that Reading have. Without a goal, their season ends here. With one, well, who knows? It could go all the way. Half an hour of extra time awaits if required. And, of course, penalty kicks that follow that. Alexander loops high into the darkening Berkshire sky. And Mike Riley immediately spots something he doesn't care for.
Racine not very happy at all there, was he?
Well, Steve Thompson, he's the sort of player who likes to put himself about, make an impression on defenders.
Just a little nudge in the back, just a clip of the heels. Racine not at all happy. I think Mike Riley just saying, well, that's a number of fouls you've committed. Be careful.
Talked about the substitutes that Reading have at their disposal if they need. Likewise, Burnley, they have Jay Rodriguez, who's made a habit in big games of coming off the bench and scoring big goals, particularly in their cup exploits. And of course, Joey Good-Johnson and Chris Eagles, who both started the first leg. Kept in reserve tonight, though. Elliott, one of the returners. And in the first half, he was the man who had the only really significant effort on Marcus Hanneman's goal. It's been a quiet night for the big American for Seattle at the back for Reading. Burnley changed their focus, their ratio between defence and attack in this second half. What's the Coyle master plan to get them across the finishing line?
It's not the natural game, is it? Just to defend and sit back. So many attack-minded players that it's be hard to rein yourself in and stick to that game plan.
Tab will collect that throw. Now Blake for Burnley. Keeping it in. Allison has presented it to Harding and Hanneman. They'll know, Burnley, that throughout the 23-game season on the road away from Turf Moor, they only managed 4 clean sheets. They'll know that if they can get a 5th on their travels to tag on to the end of the regulation campaign, then they will take on Sheffield United, a shot at the top division for the first time in 33 years. Already it's their best season since they were relegated from the top flight, their top 6 finish. Last time they finished in the top 10 was 7 years ago. Already they've pushed back the barriers this year. A capital punishment in the cup exploits, so famously seeing to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on penalty kicks. If it does go that far tonight, they'll derive a lot of confidence from that. Dispatching Arsenal at Turf Moor, coming so close against Spurs as well.
You have to admire the number of games they've had to play this season. Still they're there where it matters at the end of the season.
And Manchester United, who set the standards at the top of the Premier League and indeed in the Champions League as well. They've played 3 more games than Burnley, but they've done it by using 15 fewer players. That's the kind of the statistic that really stands out.
Well, you look at the squads on the back of the programme today, and the Reading one is by far the longest list of players. Shows you what a good season Burnley have had with those players at their disposal.
Obviously you need the luck with injuries, suspensions and so forth. Here's Matejowski, dangerous position. Can he slip it through? Burnley with men back. Goodness me, he nearly found a way through again, Reading, but the massed ranks of Claret just did enough.
Into panic, wasn't there, there? And that ball just got flicked into the box.
At the Medeski. Got to be among the best they've had here all season. Not quite the biggest crowd here. That was the final day shootout against Birmingham. Saw Reading with too little too late after going 2-0 down. Over 2,000 fans from Lancashire playing their part here tonight as well, it has to be said. Hoping that this isn't their last trip south this season. Matejowski, the Czech international for Reading, turned into trouble. Thompson got the touch past Dubry. Now Patterson. A lot of space for Patterson to run into. He's going to take it on there. Oh, goodness me! What a goal from Patterson! If that is to be the one that takes them to Wembley, you cannot argue with that. Pure quality.
Absolute magic. A cleaner strike of the ball you won't see. And Hanneman is just absolutely mortified. Could get nowhere near it. It was that good a strike. There didn't look any real danger on. You see the number of striped shirts getting back, you think they're going to be in charge. They all back off. Look how far they let him run. And look at that for a strike. That is absolute perfection. But they all back off here. They let him come. They let him come. It's a long way out, but look at that. Hanneman desperately tried to get there. But such is the quality of this strike. He can't. It's just one of those shots, one of those strikes that is perfectly put in, right in the corner, and no goalkeeper gets near it.
A look to the heavens, and that was a goal from that department, wasn't it?
Well, talk about silencing a stadium.
Talk about bringing a county to its feet. Celebrations in Lancashire for that will go on long into the night. Can Reading, who've only scored 3 goals here in the last 3 months, find 2 in the remaining 40 minutes? They have to, or their season is over.
Well, 3 substitutes stripped on the side there now for Reading. 3 big players coming on, and they've got to come on to try and get something back from Burnley after that man's magical strike.
We talked about there being fine margins in the playoffs. Moments of madness like Andre Piqué, which handed Burnley a first leg advantage, or moments of pure magic like that from Martin Patterson. Well, it's prompted a triple change. The established old guard for Reading are coming on. Off goes Matejowski. On comes Stephen Hunt. Off comes Kebe, on goes Dave Kitson, top scorer for Reading in their last promotion season. And Glenn Little, 7 years a Burnley player, is going to come on to try and put a spanner in the works for the club where he really made his name. Simon Church, the young debutant, the man to make way.
I think he's unfortunate to come off. Surprised to see Kebe come off. I thought Gunnarsson, somebody like that, or Tab might have come off in midfield. This is where managers do earn their pay. But now the thing is, Reading are going to push forward, and we've just seen what happens if you push forward and leave Patterson on the break.
Well, this is it for Reading. They've played their hand. And they go for broke. On the positive side for Reading as they try and recover their composure from that mighty blow from Patterson. They do have plenty of time, and they can get a goal back, and they can change the complexion.
Yeah, certainly can. And no away goal, so makes it a little bit better for them.
Well, they need to take it to extra time. Little stands over it. The added height of Kitson is up there. Glenn Little to deliver. And eludes everybody.
I was surprised when nobody stops at the far post just to attack it in case it does go over everybody. What a strike this is. Look where he picks it up. Just on the halfway line. And look at everybody. They just back off. Just allow him to shoot. Thinks there's no danger. There certainly is. You watch him steady himself there. What a strike that is. Just clean as a whistle.
Before that, he'd only scored one in the last 16 games. That winner against Sheffield United. That one, that moment of glory, could well be the moment to set up a Wembley meeting with Sheffield United. Now, Mike Riley wants to have a word here with Harding by the look of things. He's got a yellow card in his hand. And it is Wade Elliott of Burnley who gets the yellow card.
Well, he looks perplexed, asking what it's for. There, that's what it's for. He's all over him. Not once, but twice. His fists are flailing all over the place. What Burnley don't want to do now is anything stupid. Go down to 10 men.
There's any stupidity would, and they're not there yet, although they've taken a mighty step, would rule them out of the final. Another yellow card brandished here. Dave Kitson getting involved. High stakes, high anxiety. This leads to a spilling over of emotion at times.
The referee's realising this, and that's what the yellow cards are coming out, trying to quiet things down a little bit, get on top of things.
Harding, a bit of a hit and hope. It's come to Blake. Elliott, Patterson. For Burnley supporters, that goal could well be where you were. You remember where you were when Martin Patterson scored that goal at the Medeski. Don't get many like that this season.
Robbie Blake out there.
Still well over half an hour to play. Another off-the-ball collision. Carlisle and Long, and another yellow card. Shane Long. It's a flurry of yellow from Mike Riley, the referee, in these last 10 minutes.
Again, he is trying to calm things down. You can see it getting a little bit heated, and at the moment it's not stopping players getting yellows, is it? You don't often see him as animated as that, Steve Coppell, do you? Happy with something out there.
Mike Riley just having a word with Chris McCann as well. Across comes Stephen Caldwell. You can see he's trying to calm the situation down. Chris McCann, one of the youngsters in there, needs to make sure he doesn't get caught up in all the emotion that's flowing around here at the Medeski Stadium.
Burnley need to do nothing. They just need to just go away. Don't go to the referee. Don't be silly.
Thompson takes a swing. Oh, they've done it again. Another wonder goal. And Reading are brought to their knees by another moment of brilliance surely book those Wembley tickets.
Well, we thought the first was fantastic, and it was. Probably not quite as good as the first one, but still a wonderful strike. It dips and just goes over the top of Hanneman. It's a long ball. And again, doesn't look a great deal of danger. There, just takes it with his left foot, dips over Hanneman, underside of the bar, and another wonderful strike. Both strikers on top of the game. There's the dip, vital. It's the top of the bar, and Hanneman again, you've got no chance. It's perfect, he's just gone right over the top. He's a tall man, but that is just exactly what he had to do there. And he knows.
I mean, for all the talk of game plans and being cautious and clean sheets, just look what those two moments have done to those supporters. Quite extraordinary. To get one in a match you wish for, to get two, it's the stuff of dreams, and this is the stuff of dreams for Burnley.
Well, it's a playoff semi-final. You want to see games like this sorted with fantastic ability, and that's what we've seen. Two sparkling strikes and worthy of winning any football match.
They soaked it up in the first half, and they're dishing it out in the second, Burnley.
Well, the boys called it at half-time, didn't they, saying Burnley have got goals in them. Patterson especially, we knew, but Thompson comes to the party as well. And that's now 71 goals between the players out there at the moment.
I think we've probably seen two of the best of the season right here at the Medeski tonight. Reading need 3, and now just take it to extra time. First things first, Reading need to make sure they keep their heads. Both their strikers in a flurry of 3 bookings in 2 minutes got booked, Long and Kitson.
Yeah, how you feel. Been beaten in a playoff semi-final before. I know the feelings. Horrible.
For Reading, disbelief, frustration.
The thing is, they played so well first half. They were the dominant force. Started the second half reasonably well, and all of a sudden, 2 moments of magic have just done that for their supporters.
Burnley have a taste for it now. Calvinez cut off at source. They'll get the corner.
You just have to admire what they did first half, really. They came with that game plan. They sat back a little bit, reined in their talented players in midfield. Robbie Blake was tracking back, helping out. Eagles left on the bench.
Hanneman. Caldwell finds Alexander, who fumes with himself that he didn't get it right.
At least it keeps it deep in Reading territory.
1994, the old Division 2 playoff, the win against Stockport. That's the last time that Burnley were at Wembley. Yes, Reading can match their 3-month goal tally in the remaining half an hour here. And they are going to Wembley again. They're pretty sure they're there already. It's hard to argue, isn't it? It's hard to see a way back for Reading. The first was bad enough, but the second was like a hammer blow.
It certainly wasn't. You just feel for them, don't you, after that first half performance? They must have thought they were in with a chance. All of a sudden, 2 moments of pure magic and taking it away from them by the look of it. There's still a way back, of course there is. It's got to be a special one. Oh, there's a frustration. Long's just smashed the corner flag into the cameraman in that far corner.
And Long puts his head in his hands like the majority of the blue and white supporters here at the Medeski, and knows that Riley will take a sympathetic view of that, but he won't get away with too much more. Just been booked as well. Agony and ecstasy distilled in one stadium in Berkshire. Kitson gives chase, so too Carlisle. And Kitson under the nose of the linesman, just took too much of Carlisle.
Carlisle knew exactly what he was doing there. Takes the pressure off again.
Thompson.
How to silence the stadium. One that was so buoyant in the first half, one with total belief that they could get back with the performance, suddenly more or less taken away from them.
Well, the local part of the stadium is silenced. The little corner of Lancashire is absolutely buoyant.
You wonder, Reading do go out. Steve Coppell in speculation about his future, what will happen. He's a guy you want to see stay in the game.
Long hits Kitson, it's just not working out in any shape or form for Reading at the moment. How do you pick yourself up off the canvas and respond to two blows that have been dished up by Burnley in this second half?
You have to steel yourself, Bill, and you have to try, you have to believe, you have to get the ball in the opponent's box as much as you possibly can. Just make them defend. They've got the big players, if you like, out there now, your Kitsons, your Hunts, Littles. Just get Burnley under as much pressure as you possibly can.
There are a few among the Burnley section here tonight who remember 22 years ago, final day of the season, a win required against Leyton Orient in the bottom division just to stay in the Football League. Now they're just counting the minutes, savouring the seconds between now and full-time here. And a trip to Wembley on May the 25th.
There's a lot of people been saying a lot of nice things about Owen Coyle, and they're all merited, they're all warranted. He has done a fabulous job with this football club.
All the cup runs, the semi-final of the Carling Cup for the first time since the early 80s, all a bonus. People were worried at one point that it might have taken their eye off the ball a little bit. They had a little bit of a shaky spell in and around Christmas and the New Year as they lost a bit of ground that they've recovered. As we've touched on already, using the same players, playing largely the same way, and doing it the Owen Coyle way.
But that's where a manager has to really earn his money. When things do get a little bit shaky, when you do start losing games, he's steadied the ship, put the belief back in the players, and this is what's happened.
Kitson. Able to turn and look to feed. Cut out by Alexander.
Should have played Hunting on the left, shouldn't he? Hunting get in the box, and hopefully the cross will come in, giving him an opportunity to get a attempt on target for his team.
In the first half, Burnley came with their defensive game plan, their plan of containment, if you like. Reading gave it a really good go to try and breach that, get the better of it. They nearly did on a couple of occasions. The blow from Patterson, the lob from Thompson has meant they can dictate it, they can defend, and try and soak up the Reading pressure again in this second. That's what they're trying to do here. Rosinha with the cross. Hunt is underneath it. Defender went to ground, and the defender was Patterson.
Well, still getting back there, isn't he, Patterson, to help out. He scored an absolute stunner, but he's still prepared to help out the cause at the back, and here's the goal he scored. That's absolutely superb. You can see so many words, so many superlatives. Whichever ones you use, and this one, the right. That had to be exactly that, looping over a big keeper like Hanneman. Absolute magic moments.
few raised eyebrows in some quarters when he was brought in for £1.3 million, the club record signing. But he's shown enough during his formative years at Stoke, that wonderful season he had with Scunthorpe, despite their relegation last season from this division. So he stands every chance of helping Burnley to promotion this season. As for Reading, this a night, by the look of things, that'll throw up more questions than answers. What of the future of the manager, who has already failed to quash the rumours about whether he will stay or leave at the end of the season? Plenty of players, the likes of Kevin Doyle, Dave Kitson, who's only here on loan, Stephen Hunt, who expressed their desire to play in the Premier League. Plenty of clubs who I'm sure would want to tap into their experience. James Harper as well, not playing tonight. It's going to be a big summer for Reading.
Well, whatever happens, Steve Coppell's done a fantastic job at this football club, hasn't he? We talk about the goals that have been scored, 2 fantastic efforts. I think you have to look a little further back into midfield. A guy called Alexander, I think, has marshalled the team in there, had the discipline there, he's urged his team on, and you know, sometimes it gets overlooked when you see spectacular goals like that.
Caldwell commanding at the back. Delightfully controlled by Wade Elliott. Alexander, Patterson. Knocking it around with the swagger that they've allowed themselves to do after their goal-scoring efforts in the second half. Olays from the Burnley supporters.
No wonder. And they've been at the end where they've seen the 2 goals as well. Right in that corner, they've seen those 2 absolute crackers, close quarters.
Kitson, he'll take this one on. Came off Caldwell, might come to long.
Well, is that the chance that could have given them a little bit of a lifeline? Kitson picks it up in space, nobody comes towards him, gets the shot away, rebounds luckily, and then goes to blast it, try and break the back of the net.
Well, Martin Patterson, a goal that will be discussed and toasted for months and years to come here at the Medeski. Gets a well-earned rest. On comes Joey Goodjohnson. Still 20 minutes to play. Burnley exactly where they want to be.
Yeah, Patterson, despite the goal, has done a lot of good things at the other end as well. He's tracked back. Not natural for strikers to go that far back, that deep. But he's done it for his manager, no questions asked.
And quite rightly, that goal here tonight will get all the plaudits, or most of them. Thompson will have a few himself. But let's cast our minds back to the goal line clearance at Turf Moor in the first leg. Equally as important when Burnley were largely under the cosh for large periods of that match. Only the last 10 minutes when they got their noses in front.
It's not just about one game, is it? It's about the 2 games overall. Things happened in the first leg that matter, that count, and they've been brought home to bear today.
Here's Goodjohnson, he's got a shot on him, surely not another. Blocked by Dubry.
It was on its way, wasn't it?
It was. Alexander. McCann shrugged off it by Gunnarsson, unfairly. Free kick Burnley.
Yeah, it's a foul. That is just frustration. You see a few of those, I would think, before the end of the game.
Robbie Blake, who I want to miss out. And there are spectacular goals around Burnley. He's usually involved. Joey Goodjohnson will take it on though, and hits it really hard, but narrowly wide.
Well, we're just all expecting them now to be in the roof of the net or nestling in the bottom corner.
Reading's unhappy record in the playoffs of never having won one. This their 4th attempt. Will continue. Even Steve Couples' magic wand can't help them out here by the look of things. Little. Finds Kitson. Calvinez goes in, he's already been booked.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think he's a lucky boy here, Calvinez. The referee had blown up for a previous offence. That looked pretty nasty.
That's what Burnley want to avoid. Little to take to try and spark the most unlikely of Reading comebacks. Touched on by Gunnarsson. Kitson! Well, that's 2 really good chances for Reading in the space of a couple of minutes. Long over, and they're Kitson. And they've got to start taking those to have any hope.
Or at least hit the target. And Owen Coyle, he's going absolutely mad there. He said, who was picking him up there? Look at the space and the time they had at the far post here. 2 of them, they all get sucked across. He has to swivel, turn, difficult to get on target. But a player of Kitson's quality, he would have expected. There's that follow-through. That is a lucky left back there. Lucky for him that Mike Riley had blown for the previous one.
Otherwise he would be sitting out the big day out at Wembley. Here he is, the Norwegian, who's only recently come into the side in the last couple of months, preferred to Stephen Jordan, who's been marginalised. Former Dundee United player. Pierce. Chase for Kitson.
Taking no chances there. Didn't think he was going to come in. Head it away. No need for any heroics.
Well with the challenge, just went through the back of Kitson. Rosignol.
They had the chance to put that in the box, didn't they? They chose to go down the wide outside. A couple of times they've put the ball in the box. They've had a couple of half chances.
A quarter of an hour to go, and some have seen enough.
They must all be wondering what's the way forward now for this football club if Steve Coppell does decide to call it a day.
Little. Harding. Tab. Hunt. Foul throw. Nothing going right for Reading.
Nothing at all. How many of this home crowd will stay to the end. It does look like it's going to be the last game of their season.
Not even signal the end of an era, as you touched on, Gary. Here's Joey Johnson, fresh legs, leading from midfield for Burnley. Happy to wait for the nudge from Tab and go to ground a little too easily, perhaps. I mean, that's what Riley seemed to think.
Yeah, he's possibly right. Just hold the ball up there, keep it down there.
Will take the resulting corner. Carlisle has stayed back. Caldwell has gone forward. It was McCann, I think, who got the final touch. It was.
It certainly was. Hanneman not had a great deal to do, has he? Apart from pick the ball out of the back of the net from 2 wonder strikes.
It's your night, don't you, when those go in?
Better believe it. But the old cliche, you don't buy a ticket, you don't win a prize, do you? They both bought those tickets, and look at the prize. Wembley by the look of it.
Yeah, and a shot at the really big prize that all the teams in the Championship set out wanting to achieve, dreaming of a shot of Premier League football for a season.
Well, they can all be buoyed by what Stoke have done this season in the Premiership. Hull had a magnificent start, looking a little bit grim for them. And West Brom, of course, are mounting a late effort to stay in the Premiership.
All the ones who had their day in the sun at Wembley last season, Dean Windass and all that. Relying for much of the season the fact that the playoff winners can't thrive. They may well be passing Burnley or Sheffield United on the way down. A little bit of stretching for Steve Thompson. Well, he's done his job, and in real style as well.
Yeah, and here is the style. Steady when he hits it, so that's the important thing. Always say, plant your other foot and then just keep your body as still as you possibly can. And that's what happens. Good for the gaffer as well. He's brought the 2 goal scorers off. So rapturous applause from the Burnley fans.
And Jay Rodriguez, the replacement. Lively homegrown player. Here he is. Contrasts that these playoffs produce. Burnley and Sheffield United will be well aware that they'll feel exactly the same, probably hurt even more being on the wrong side of things come Wembley on May the 25th. And it's Burnley's night in Berkshire. Reading have to lick their wounds under what could have been, and bemoan the fact that a home season has tailed off so woefully, and even despite giving absolutely everything in the first half, they couldn't pull themselves out of the nosedive, which will see them play Championship football again next season. Whether he will be at the helm, well, that is a matter to be discussed in coming days and weeks.
I just think it's the surprise of the home form that's let them down. When you look at the gifted players they have in their squad, just expect any permutation of those players would bring you success. I mean, success, they get in the playoffs, but they were one of the favourites to get automatic, and it's not happened for them.
Hunt. Reading have a corner. On the recent away trip at Cardiff, Burnley conceded 3 in the last 16 minutes. Reading have marginally over 8, plus added time to find 3 to take it to extra time. Out comes Jensen.
Well, there's a shout going up. He doesn't miss many of those. Giant of a man.
Alexander. Rare heavy touch. You can excuse him a tired touch every once in a while. The age of 37, has started every single game. 60 games he's started this season now, and he's earned himself, along with his teammates, the right for number 61, the big one.
I just think he's been brilliant. He's been there, he's protected the back four, he's been there to support the front men when they need it.
McCann, Reading back off again. Coming to Rodriguez, a slip at the crucial time, and he did just take a little chunk of Michael Dubry.
He certainly did. First touch, just couldn't get his second one away, could he?
Reading made all their changes after that Patterson goal. Burnley still have one in reserve. Chris Eagles is going to come on in a moment. Kitson leading the Reading attack. In search of a consolation. Most went short, Kitson went long.
It's happened quite a few occasions. Nobody stays at the far post, do they? They'll get sucked across.
Wade Elliott, who had that calf problem which kept him out of the first leg, will be spared the final 7 minutes of running around here. And Chris Eagles, who enters the field of play with a broad smile on his face.
Well, could have bought Alexander off there, couldn't he? But he knows, I think, going Coyle, how important that man is to his team. Leave him on there.
As the season has evolved, so Alexander's role has really evolved as well. No longer a full-back, the full-blooded central midfielder that holds it all together as the runners around him do the legwork.
Look at him, he's still going, he's still talking, he's still urging. So it's not over yet.
Eagles misjudged. Here's Harding. Stephen Hunt. Little. Rosinha. Alexander away. Gunnarsson.
The important thing now for Burnley, if they do stay in front, which they surely should, is to get the preparation right, to recover.
Long's touch. He'll roll through the tap. He'll have a go himself.
Well, he's seen two spectacular ones at the other end as well. Let me join the party. Decent strike, but off target.
Of Jay Rodriguez's head. Well, Caldwell will be pleased as much as many that he'll get his shot at one of the big games. Missed both legs of the Spurs Carling Cup semi-final through suspension, sent off in the win at Stamford Bridge on penalties. Penalties won't be required here, that's for sure. Just counting down the moments till the celebrations can really start. 2 weeks Burnley have best part of to prepare for their day. Championship final in North London at Wembley Stadium on May the 25th. Here's Hunt. Willing look to add a veneer of respectability to the scoreline.
You just want to wrap them in cotton wool now, don't you? Just take them away somewhere a couple of days, bit of golf or something, just to take the mind off everything. To a spa or something, just get all the tired muscles back on track.
Given the season they've had, all the games in such quick succession with those small band of brothers that have delivered for them, might take more than just a couple of weeks. Here's Jay Rodriguez, he's got there ahead of Hanneman, and it goes wide.
Well, you'd fully expected that would have gone in, wouldn't you, with what's happened so far? Indecision here. Big long punt from Jensen, and you think, well, who's going to deal with this? Nobody deals with it, and Rodriguez nearly does.
Now, two wonderful, memorable strikes here at the Medeski tonight from Burnley, but a game plan executed by the men in claret to absolute perfection, riding the storm for most of the first 45 minutes and creating one in this second half of their own.
That's why a lot of people are saying really nice things about that man.
Blake. He'll have a chance to earn himself another shot at the Premier League.
It's been a disciplined performance from him, hasn't it? He's had to. He's going to track back and help out. Usually, you're just seeing him at the other end of the pitch.
James Rodriguez didn't quite keep it in. I think he probably knew that as he went away. Reading heads down. Reading season over. Seek another, it's Eagles. Blake. Alexander. Blake. Knocking it around neatly. Good Johnson invited to shoot, he'll take it up. Almost gathering pace as it sailed over the crossbar.
Well, he heard the shout from his own supporters saying, shoot, duly obliged.
To the last minute of the 90. I think he knew not a long way before the point we reached now that the game was up. Kitson. Rodriguez. In there with Tab. Just pull back at J-Tab. Spotted by the assistant on this near side, Mike Bull.
It's a good battle there. Just pushed into the ground as he tried to make a few yards.
Carlisle's header. Glenn Little. McCann. Escaped the attention of the Burnley supporters as 3 minutes of added time is signalled. They've already done the double over Sheffield United this season. A real thriller at Bramall Lane. They came out on top 3-2. Tight affair a few weeks back at Turf Moor. Just a 1-0 win that day. That's who got the goal. Martin Patterson. That was the last time he scored before today. Reset that clock, if you like, in emphatic style, didn't he? Malays from Burnley enjoying themselves as they eat up this added time.
That's all they're going to do, just keep the ball, get fouled. Well, he's still jumping up and down on the touchline and shouting instructions, Owen Coyle.
By Hanneman. Here's Long. Couldn't keep it in. Burnley throw down in the corner.
Makes you wonder how many of these Reading players will stay. Now they're going to be in the Championship. I think Steve Coppell's done it in the past to keep them, done a good job to keep them at the football club, and their belief in him's always been there. But if he does leave, what happens? Interesting to see.
Whipped in, looking for Kitson, a combination in the past that served Reading so well. Not this time. It's not their night, it's not been their season. In the end, have we just seen Steve Coppell's royal machine run out of steam?
Yeah, I mean, the first half, you have to admit they were the better side. They took the game to Burnley. They looked like they could get something out of it. Started the second half well, and all of a sudden, those 2 goals have just knocked the stuffing out of everybody.
Last minute of added time. Dubry's header. Blake for Burnley. Now Jay Rodriguez. Trying to get away from Rosinia. His dreams of returning to Wembley dashed here. He was part of the England under-21 side that played in the first match there. That 3-3 draw with Italy under-21. He won't be going back. Blake and McCann, they're on their way there. Eagles. Good Johnson. Still Prowler touchline, Owen Coyle. But his boys have done it. Their marathon season has one final step. They are Wembley bound, Burnley. 2 moments of sheer quality from the men in claret here at the Medeski tonight have booked that Wembley date. A run and a blast from Patterson, a lob and a flourish from Thompson. And that was enough on the night to secure Burnley's passage and steamroller their way over Reading, who really took the fight to them in the first half, but in the end, 2 blows that there was no way to pick themselves up from.
I don't think it was just the goals, I think it was the game plan, the organisational skills of the manager that have won the day here. They like attacking, the gifted players in forward areas who've had to defend, and they've defended and stuck to that plan from the manager, and they deserve great credit for that.
Well, what a season it has been for Burnley. So many people predicting from so long ago that they would run out of steam. Well, they haven't. They've saved the best till last in many ways. Martin Patterson's early goal in the second half, sparking delirious celebrations. They didn't think it got any better than that. Well, just a few minutes later it did, with Stephen Thompson. The Burnley supporters have had some good days this season, winning at Stamford Bridge and the like in the Carling Cup. But the league, Owen Coyle maintained, was always the priority, to get into the playoffs, to get to Wembley and to get up. Well, they have one final hurdle, a considerable one at that. The best of the rest, if you like, in Sheffield United. That'll be the mouth-watering fare on show in the Championship final on May the 25th. But tonight it is Burnley's night, and they have plenty of time to enjoy it.
Oh, and enjoy it they should do as well. They thoroughly deserved it, and nobody will begrudge Burnley going to Wembley, because they're one of the teams you love watching as a neutral, because they play the game as we all love to see it played. On the floor, just as I say, I keep mentioning these gifted players they have in forward areas. Don't let's forget about the defence. They've been superb. The 2 centre-halves as well. I think every man tonight has played a big part for them. Stuck to the task absolutely superbly.
It's a perfect blend, isn't it, for Burnley, and it has produced the perfect result tonight. Let's get some reaction. Greg Whelan is with a couple of the goal-scoring heroes.
Martin, you're capping such a memorable season with a playoff final at Wembley. How does that sound?
It's fantastic, obviously, but we've got to keep our heads now. It's one more game. We've done nothing yet. Obviously, we'll celebrate, but it'll be low-key. We know the big game's yet to come.
Well, what's it like to score a goal like the one you did in a game like this?
No, I think, obviously, it's great to score a great goal, but, I mean, one goal doesn't mean a great performance. I think the lads deserve a pat on the back, not myself. I mean, at the end of the day, I've just picked it up, and to be honest, I've just kept my head down and tried to hit a clean ball, and lucky for me, it's gone in top bin.
But in all honesty, was it always your intention to shoot?
Yeah, I think when I got it, I think I wanted to drive in, and as soon as I got out of my feet...
You're going to pass it, isn't it? Put it that way.
I don't pass those.
Let's grab a quick word with yourself, Stephen. Great goal in the second half, but how hard did you have to work as a team in that first period?
The first half was very difficult for us. Reading came out and put us under an awful lot of pressure, and we didn't play well at all. We didn't get our passing game going, and the manager made us aware of that, and in the second half I think we addressed it very well, and I think we dominated the second half, and we've won the tie 3-0, no arguments, and we're really looking forward to what's going to be a fantastic final now.
When you saw your goal flying off that crossbar, did you know in your heart of hearts that there was job done?
Well, you don't like to... well, aye.
At least you're honest.
Well, no, it would be difficult for them to come back from that, and the way that we were defending, and we had the ascendancy in the match at the time then, I thought they would have done it.
Guys, many, many congratulations. Martin, you're also the Powerade man of the match. Stephen, do the honours for us, please.
All right.
Well done, guys.
Thank you very much.
Well, they're 2 contenders for goal of the season for Burnley. They've had plenty, haven't they? But there were plenty of contenders tonight for that man of the match prize, which Martin Patterson takes. They're all heroes to those Burnley fans. 2,000 here, many more watching back in Lancashire. They've had some terrific nights, haven't they, this season? Beating the likes of Fulham and Arsenal and Chelsea along the way to a Carling Cup semi-final. Beating Spurs as well, but not quite making it all the way to Wembley. But now they are there. Owen Coyle can do no wrong in their eyes. And you can hear what it means to them, because they're off to Wembley where they'll play Kevin Blackwell's Sheffield United. We'll hear from him and Eddie Boothroyd next. Get more reaction from downstairs as well. Burnley didn't need to win here, but win they did nonetheless. Martin Patterson from 30-plus yards. And Stephen Thompson, anything he can do better. 2-0 it finished, 3-0 on aggregate. And another wonderful night in what is turning out to be an extraordinary season, this, for Burnley. And they have a Wembley date with Sheffield United for a place in the Premier League. Monday, May the 25th at 2:30, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1. Eddie Boothroyd and Kevin Blackwell, the Sheffield United manager, here with us. I get the impression, Kevin, that maybe that was the result you expected.
I did say before the game, I just felt there was a real belief about the Burnley team and the fans, and it came true tonight.
So what kind of final we're going to get?
A tough final, but they know that it's going to be a great one. I think it'll be a real good game between two really aggressive teams that want to go forward and play football.
Over two legs, Eddie, can Reading have any complaints?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was the game up at Burnley, the BK sending off and the penalty obviously gave Burnley the edge. Both teams were nervous. It was very even, and tonight it was the same for long periods. Reading had a goal, but Burnley stood firm, and it was two fantastic goals of the season that won it in the end for Burnley.
Yeah, not a bad first one. I think you've learnt from tonight not to give these guys this kind of space.
Well, absolutely right. I mean, one of the goals would be a match winner, but to take two of them in the same game was superb. I mean, they've come away a break from here, and this was always going to be the danger. Reading pushing forward, leaving gaps at the back. But for some reason, Reading got plenty behind the ball, but no one seemed to decide they were ever going to press it. And I think Patterson's looked up, he can't believe it. I'll drive in here. And as he just said there in his interview, I just concentrated on striking it as sweet as I could, and it's gone in there, and it's a terrific goal. A goal that would win any game, and surely it did.
Surprised, Eddie, how much space he's given there.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still 30 yards out, and he's just absolutely banjoed it with his left foot, and he's nobody.
Banjoed it? Is that a technical term? That's a new one on me.
A highly technical term.
Absolutely, that's what you teach on the coaching courses. He's put his foot right through that. And
but to be fair from there, Ray, you'd expect you to say so.
Yeah,
Go on,
you would.
Have a pop. Go on, have a go.
Sure.
And with someone like Hanneman, if you can beat me from there, I'll be happy. That shows you the quality of the strike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it the only place in the goal pretty much where he doesn't save it as well?
Yeah, well, anywhere else, and he's got a hand to it, but it's a terrific strike.
Did you feel at that point maybe Reading had already gone?
No, I don't think they had, but that was it. For me, as soon as that happened, the game completely changed, and Reading still tried to give it a go, but the passes went astray, things didn't happen for them, and Burnley's confidence was growing, and then all of a sudden, Thompson steps up with a wonder strike, and even he, I think, will admit himself that he would have been a bit surprised. But I have to say, if you don't shoot, you can't score, so you've got to give him total credit. And he's turned it in there, and look at that. I mean, it couldn't have gone an inch higher, it'd have come off the bar. Fantastic.
Yeah, he's hit it really, really early there. Top spin, dipping in, and he's, I don't know how many goals he scores with his left foot. He won't score another one like that in his career, and a terrific strike. And after that, you could see the belief just totally go out of Reading, and the Burnley fans got the crowd going even more so. They've been more dominant as fans tonight. They believed, and in the end, it's got them through.
Another one still making the noise right here behind us. And here's their manager, Owen Coyle, with Greg Whelan.
Owen, your 61st and final game of this campaign will be a Wembley playoff final. What tribute do you pay to these players?
Well, I think they've been magnificent from day one. I mean, we've worked with us hard pre-season, and I've mentioned before the way we started, first couple of league games, you wouldn't have thought so. But over the course of the season, they've been magnificent. You've seen that tonight again. I mean, we had to ride a luck in the first half. We're not deceiving ourselves in any way. Reading are a quality side, and they've shown, there's Premier League players within their ranks, but we stood up to what they had to offer. Had a few choice words I've got to say at half-time to them, because I felt we were well below our standard, and we improved, and culminating in two fantastic goals.
Nevertheless, didn't your first half performance show a strength of character?
Well, we know we've got strength of character, but I'm also looking for the quality on the ball, and I didn't think we possessed it, as much in the first half as we should have. Thought we addressed that a little bit in the second half. But Reading are always going to come back. I mean, they're proud players, and as I say, quality players. But delighted to come here and achieve that result. It's magnificent for everybody at the football club.
You did mention your poor start to the season. When you lost those 5 league games in a row after Christmas, did you envisage an end to the campaign like this?
Well, I always believed that we were capable of being in the mix-up at the top of the league. I mean, we lost 5 games. It was in amongst the semi-final of the Carling Cup, which we went to, and unfortunate to lose out in that. And you think, the Wembley spots went beyond you this year. But the lads have showed out with their quality, real, as you say, strength of character, real desire and hunger. And just delighted with the application they showed day in, day out.
In all honesty, do you feel that your cup exploits have actually helped you to get to this point?
Well, it certainly not did us any harm. I mean, I've always said that, regardless, particularly as a player, you want to play every game that comes your way. Any competition you enter, you want to try and win it. And if you don't have those goals, then what's the point of entering a competition? So we felt that we could have a good run in the Carling Cup, the FA Cup. And we've used the fewest amount of players in the Championship. We know that, 23. But I think in many ways that's been a blessing. They're very much a unified bunch. It's not easy to leave some of them out, I've got to say that, because they're all probably deserving of a starting place. But we've came here tonight, I think, with a total 18 in a squad. But each and every one of them give you everything they can on a daily basis. And as a manager, I really can't ask any more than that.
Any sympathy for Steve Coppell tonight?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've said, over the both games, they've been a quality side. I mean, Brian, the big save on Saturday to keep us in at 0-0, and obviously we got the penalty. And tonight, they had a couple of opportunities in the first half, and if one of them went in, a completely different game. I mean, goals change games, so we're under no illusions how difficult it was tonight. Delighted, obviously, to be in the right end of the result. But again, the margins at this level, they are very minimal.
Congratulations tonight.
Pleasure, thanks very much.
Players will make the headlines, but he is certainly the toast of the Clarets tonight. His first full season in charge, and I'm not sure his impact could have been much greater. All that success in the cup competitions, and now a Wembley playoff final to look forward to as well. That's what he means to them. They're still here, and they'll sing his name long into the night here at the Medeski Stadium. How do you assess his impact, Eddie?
Well, it's a fantastic impact, isn't it? He's taken over from Steve Cottrell, who didn't do a bad job himself, and he's come in there and he's brought a couple of players in, brought his own staff in, and up Steve Davis, who was the captain of the club, and they've had a fantastic run with a very small squad, and he's done a wonderful job. And the final is the one. That's the one. The guy sitting next to me here. That's what it's about. It's not about semi-finals. It's about finals.
He mentioned there in his interview the size of his squad. He's only used 23 players all season, despite the fact, as we've heard, they've played 60 games. Has that helped them in a way?
Yeah, it does. I think any manager will tell you the smaller the number of players that you use means you're successful. If you're not successful, you see teams using 30, 40 players, get no understanding, no team cohesion. I look at them, they've got a team that's very cohesive, very much together, and I think that's helped. I think the cup games is right. Winning games is all about, that gives you confidence to go on and play more and more. And I thought today they grew. As the game went on, they grew and they got the breaks at the right time, and they finished it in aplomb, really, at the end.
You're a little bit worried, Kevin, the fact they have been so good in cup football.
They certainly have. Let's hope they have an off day.
AD, only Manchester United have actually played more games than Burnley this season. They've used 34 players to Burnley's 23. Do these players know their exact roles every time they go out there?
Yeah, they do. They do, and I think at this stage of the season, your team has a model of playing, has an identity, and they all know exactly what they're doing, and more importantly, they all know what each other are going to do at any given time. And when you can get like that, you can play badly and win, and pick up points. And at this stage of the season, it's all about winning.
So it's joy for Burnley, absolute despair for Reading, who for the first time have lost 9 straight games at home. It's not promotion form, is it? I wonder where his future will lie next season. More reaction next.